continue to be cautious and rely on the science and data to guide our decisions. Since last March, 74,726 Prince Georgians have had confirmed cases of COVID-19. 7,577 of our residents have been hospitalized, and 1,321 of the members of our community have passed away from COVID-19. This pandemic, needless to say, has taken a lot out of all of us, and we are continuing to do all that we can to reduce the impact of this pandemic. We continue to pray for every family who have lost loved ones, those who continue to suffer. We're going to get through this together. I'm happy to be able to say that the future of Prince George's County is beginning to look much brighter. Our number of COVID-19 cases continues to trend down since January, and our infection rate continues also to slow. So in addition, our 7-day average positivity rate as of March 6th is 4.3%, down from 7% just 1 month ago. Our Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Health and Human Services, Dr. Askew, is with us this morning. I want to thank him for the tremendous work that he and his team have done. I want to thank everyone at the Health Department. They have worked literally around the clock, and I do want to thank them as well as all of our employees for the absolutely beautiful job that they are doing. He will in a moment provide an in-depth update on our current COVID-19 numbers in a few minutes, but the metrics clearly show that we are in a better place than where we were just a month ago. Prince Georgians have done an excellent job, and I want to just thank all of them. Prince Georgians are just amazing. They have sacrificed greatly. They have listened to our guidance. And because of that, they're doing such a great job in reducing the transmission of COVID-19. So I want to thank you for continuing to practice social distancing, for continuing to wear your masks and looking out for each other. The county continues to make significant progress with our vaccination effort as well, and we will do all that we can to correct any issues that arise during this unprecedented process. Our health department vaccination capacity is now more than 2,000 vaccines per day, and our capacity has now increased to 15,000 per week. The health department is currently operating 5 vaccination clinics across the county, and we also have 3 mobile vaccination units that can administer 150 vaccines per day total. I want to just extend a debt of gratitude and thank you to Pastors Granger and Joanne Browning of Ebenezer AME Church, as well as Pastor Tony Lee and the Community of Hope AME Church for recently partnering with us to host mobile vaccination pop-ups this past weekend. Look out for those vaccination mobile units. They will continue to press their way through our county, and I want to thank our Office of Community Relations and all who have been involved, emergency management, with the mobile vaccination efforts. They've gone to the homes, literally, and to the bedside of many of our seniors who have been homebound and bedridden, and administered those vaccines. And I'm told that they not only do so, but do so with tremendous compassion and care. And so we're proud to be able to not wait just for those to come to us, but we're taking the vaccine out to those who need it. So I want to remind our residents that we will temporarily close our sports and learning vaccination clinic for scheduled maintenance. I mentioned this in our last press conference, but it's important for us to get that message out, that pre-scheduled maintenance will be occurring at the Sports and Learning Center from March 13th through March 28th, and we're not scheduling appointments because of this at this site during the closure. To make sure, however, that we do not lose vaccination capacity for our health department, we are opening 2 new sites, and Dr. Askew will talk about those sites in just a moment. And although we have the capacity to deliver approximately 15,000 vaccines per week, right now our vaccine supply continues to be our biggest limiting factor in being able to quickly vaccinate Prince Georgians. That is changing by the moment, however, and we're really hopeful. The good news is that even with these limitations, every day we're increasing the number of vaccinated residents. Just this week, for example, we reached an incredible milestone. Over 100,000 residents have received at least their first dose of vaccine. and just under 50,000 are fully vaccinated. And last week, we set a record by delivering 11,425 vaccinations just through our health department, an increase of 44% from the previous week. And again, I would be remiss if I didn't stop right here and say thank you so much for the tremendous work that our health department teams and all of our partners have done to help us continue to try to meet the need by ramping up and building that infrastructure to increase by 44% the amount of vaccine from one week over the next. Over 8,200 of those were first or single doses. And when we add in all of our partners distributing vaccines, over 31,000 vaccinations were provided to residents last week, which is also a record weekly total. As I've said before, we're doing all we can to further expand access so more Prince Georgians can join the growing numbers of those residents that have already been proud to be protected from COVID-19. In fact, members of my team met with Governor Hogan's team this week to discuss expanding priority vaccinations for Prince Georgians. And as you may have already heard, beginning next week, the state will, per our request, set aside at least 300 appointments per day at Six Flags for residents on our county health department's pre-registration list. And that's a total of 2,100 priority appointments per week. And this was in line with the request that we made that we wanted to have at least a day set aside for Prince Georgians. This is pretty much consistent with that because they provide about 2,000 of those vaccines per day at that site. And so they have guaranteed from our pre-registration list alone a total of 2,100 priority appointments per week. In addition, the state will begin directly facilitating nearly 10,000 priority appointments per week for county residents over the coming weeks through an upcoming vaccination clinic at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden and partnerships with several local pharmacies. The clinic at the First Baptist Church of Glenarden should open next Monday and will ramp up to 980 shots per day by the end of the month for a total of 6,860 shots per week. Walmart is also conducting a 500-dose closed clinic for county residents each week at the location in Clinton, and 200-dose clinics at its Landover location. Wegmans has begun a 200-dose closed clinic at its Lanham store. This amounts to at least 900 shots per week for county residents through pharmacy partnerships. And Giant is utilizing 2,200 doses for closed clinics to vaccinate disabled populations in our county as well. And so we're pleased that the governor's office heard our concerns because with these partnerships and increased access to vaccines, we hope to ensure that vaccines are distributed more equitably to the hardest hit jurisdiction in the state. And I want to thank his administration for working with us so closely to increase access to our residents. And we look forward to continued collaboration, building capacity in our county as the supply increases. We'd like to also thank Congressman Steny Hoyer, who has helped to secure vaccines for one of our federally qualified health centers. We just got this news in today, so this is also more good news. We're excited that the Greater Baden Federally Qualified Health Center will be among the next federal health centers to receive an allocation of vaccines directly from the federal government. So this is yet another line of supply that is coming to us from the federal government to help us vaccinate our residents. And I want to thank each one of you who have signed up to be vaccinated for taking the opportunity to get this life-saving vaccine. I want to encourage those of you who have not registered to please do so and go ahead and get signed up. It's important that all Prince Georgians pre-register with the county because this is how you will gain access to the closed appointments that the state is coordinating with us. For example, this past weekend, we provided the state with 30,000 names from our pre-registration list so that they can begin to book Prince Georgians into appointments at various locations. And we also provided 2,000 names directly to the Clinton Walmart. So we encourage everyone to first pre-register. And for those who don't have access to internet, call 311 and press pound. We also have a call center that's coming online soon to handle those who do not have access to the internet or do not have access to phones. and do not have access to a cell phone. The information on how to pre-register with our county health department and a link to the state website where you can find other vaccination locations are all available on our county's vaccine website, and you can access that page at mypgc.us/COVID vaccine. Again, mypgc.us/COVID vaccine. When we take the vaccine, it not only protects us, but it also protects our friends and family members, neighbors, and those with whom we worship. And the faster we can get Prince Georgians vaccinated, the faster we can return to some sense of normalcy. And as I've noted earlier, our COVID-19 infection rates are trending in the right direction, and our positivity rates continue to be encouraging. So we continue to expand access to the life-saving vaccine, and more Prince Georgians, thank goodness, are getting protected every day. And with this in mind, I believe that we can begin to take a measured approach to lifting some of the restrictions on our county businesses. My first and most important responsibility will always be to protect the residents of Prince George's County, their lives, and their livelihood. And as we've done since the beginning of this pandemic, we are listening to the science and to the advice of our health experts. And so we've not forgotten that Prince George's County was the hardest hit jurisdiction in the state, and the terrible toll this virus has had on our community. We saw over the holidays how the trends can reverse and how infections can begin to rise again. But due to the decline in cases and our progress in delivering vaccines, our public health experts have advised me that we are now in position to move forward cautiously. That's why today I am announcing that we will take a measured approach to reopening, modifying current restrictions on businesses and other establishments. Starting on Friday, March 12th at 5 p.m., we will increase the capacity limit for all businesses and other establishments to 50% of maximum capacity. This includes, but is not limited to, movie theaters, gyms, indoor dining at restaurants, banquet halls, receptions, and meeting rooms, and houses of worship. In addition, indoor private gatherings not otherwise specified are limited to a maximum of 20 people. Outdoor gatherings are limited to a maximum of 50 people. I want to remind everyone that at these businesses and establishments, it is still required that you will wear a mask, practice social distancing, and other safety protocols and guidelines we have put in place to keep our residents safe and our employees safe. In addition, masks are still required on public transportation and outside anytime you leave your home. A complete list of our updated guidelines, in addition to a copy of the newest executive order, will be available online at mypgc.us/reopen. I want to stress again that these decisions were made based on the science and advice of our public health officials, and due to the progress that we have all made together in fighting COVID-19 and our current progress in vaccination efforts. Because COVID-19 affected us so deeply, our reopening will move at a different pace than the rest of the state. And while we are not ready to open as far as the rest of the state at this point, we are pleased by the information the health department is seeing, and our metrics tell us that we can safely do more than we are currently doing. We will not throw caution to the wind, and I want to make that abundantly clear, as it has been too devastating for us, and we are being very careful. We will continue to be careful, and we will continue to follow the guidance of our health department to facilitate a safe reopening. And to help our county move forward, I'm asking every resident that to please continue to do your part to stop the spread of COVID-19. Please follow social distancing guidelines. We want you to avoid unnecessary travel. Please continue to wash your hands. Do all the things that our public officials have advised us, the medical officials, to wear your mask. And when it's your
fairly dramatic announcement there from Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsbrooks. Quickly to recap, because we've got sort of dueling news conferences going on right now. She talked about a year after the first diagnoses of cases cases there. And she said the caseloads are trending now. Case rate has slowed. Called her county in a better place now than we were just even a month ago. She said the county can give up to 15,000 shots a week, but they're only giving about 2,000 per day. They have 5 vaccination clinics and 2 mobile clinics. As a result of the general good news, she announced what she said was a measured approach to reopening. So as of tomorrow at 5 p.m., Angela Alsbrooks announced Prince George's County is about to reopen at roughly 50% of its capacity, and that means restaurants and bars and places of worship. It's short of the fully reopened recommendation the governor had earlier this week, but comes in dramatic contrast to just next door in Montgomery County, which remains effectively shut down. She did say, though, we're not throwing caution to the